Canadians, Canada, you are in danger, and this video will explain why from an American. But first of all, let me tell you why Americans are quiet. One, there's plenty of Americans who don't think we're in a constitutional crisis, which means that they think this is not serious. They think it's just another 4 years, so they don't actually grasp onto how serious this is. And you may question why. It's because we're stupid. Yes, because we're stupid. We're literally cows who are going into the slaughterhouse, and plenty of Americans are going to be like, 4 more years. Second one is that a lot of Americans are certain of the retribution that can be faced if you cross certain boundaries. So if I was Canada, I would open up the channels in which for Americans to claim asylum in the country, because it'll be much easier from Americans to speak freely if we weren't unquestionable space where we can trigger an American response to us. Particularly, what's important to note is the unalive penalty memo, which produces capital punishment. It focused on undocumented immigrants. However, what it positions was that they're going to escalate and do the unalive penalties much sooner. For capital crimes, what are examples of capital crimes? Espionage and treason. That can be reshaped by any administration to define what they want to get rid of. And because of that, I'm going to say that the knowledge here produced, education purposes only. I have a degree in international law that's a focus on conflict, peace, and security. And what I'm producing is just my knowledge that I got through education, through no intelligence, through no sources, just my own research that is available on public database and a bunch of research and legal and critical thinking, right? Point is, it's all my knowledge, and it's all knowledge that I've acquired through my profession, through my research, and through my background. With that said, the Iron Dome isn't to defend us from our enemies like Stalin, like China, like Iran. It is to defend us from our allies, okay? And I'll tell you why. I had made a video not so long ago where I was like, it makes sense what the United States under Biden gave over Poland's military base to NATO, because that would be an easy way into Denmark, which is what owns Greenland, right? So Rasputin over there gets the Ukraine, which is what they want. So there's going to be concession from the United States, and that is going to be the Ukraine. Like, you're talking about the United States wanting to take over Gaza. The Ukraine, they don't even want it, so they're just going to give it to Russia. Now, all we have to do is get through Poland, which right now has NATO base instead of the United States base, which is good for them. However, then I was thinking, well, how are they going to get through Germany? ADP. ADP, that is why Musk is kissing the finger of the ADP. That is the neo-Nazi organization in Germany. Because after he gets through Germany, there's Denmark. However, there's an easier route, which I didn't even think of. I didn't think of it because it was just so straightforward, but you have to go through a whole ally sovereignty in order to get through it, and that is through Canada, because it is closer to Canada than it is closer to Denmark. Denmark owns it, but if you can just get the territory itself, then what is Denmark gonna do all the way in Europe? There is no question to me that our Iron Dome is going to be used in order to force our allies to make concessions on both sides of our borders. And particularly Canada is going to have to make extreme concessions under this reality. And I believe at the bare minimum, that's going to include saving itself, sacrificing Greenland. And now people of Greenland are probably excited right now because this rises up Denmark's willingness to give it more independence, right? However, they're not going to get independence under the United States. And hey, it's possible he'll just want Canada in general, but I think that goal is Greenland. I don't think it's going to be necessarily Canada, because that's way too many people to try to control. He can barely control the American people, the ones who actually know that this is a crisis. So I don't know what I have to do to say, Canada, you're in danger, but Canada, you're in danger. You're in danger, you're in danger, you're in danger, Canada. This is real, you're the victim, you're the one who wants to get. And the truth is that our allies are as effed as us as Americans. And as foreign governments look to Americans to do something about it, Americans are looking to foreign governments to do something about it. But like what I tell people here, if you are scared of martial law, as in American citizens, then what do you think other countries are scared of? Our military power. Now, in this reality, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, except that it's going to be a very uncertain future. And he's going to get Greenland. unless he is stopped. That's gonna come at the sacrifice of Canada. To the point that if I was a Canadian, like, man, I don't know how their military works, I would be thinking of joining my military because they're going to need a lot of help. And it's unfortunate because you think of the Ukraine and how all the men were forced to join against Rasputin. Sorry, Canada. I'm sorry, Canada. I'm sorry. From this side, that help within this tyranny, and I don't know if the people from outside really know how serious this is, can be limited, can be restricted. So I say you take a note from the United States book, Operation Paperclip, and you start getting people who can help you. Of course, education and just research, right? Because otherwise you get in trouble. But this is serious. This is serious because this isn't just a regular American government. Obviously, they've already talking, the Cybertruck body and the Orange Mango is talking about just removing checks and balances. What is that? Checks and balances is what checks the branches. It doesn't work, I know that, but in general, if the court says, hey, you need to stop doing that, you should stop doing that. Now, they're positioning that they don't have to actually pay attention to that and can refuse it. Now, if you refuse it, what happens is what happened during the Civil War. That was because the southern states refused to end slavery. So as a result, it invoked the Civil War. In this reality, it's not going to be a conflict position from the top because they're the ones breaking the Constitution and the laws. You all know what I mean. You all know what I mean. And I think the best thing that foreign countries can do to help Americans is to spread this government thin. Spread this government thin before he constructs the Iron Dome. Only then is this easier to topple, but it's gonna come from foreign governments spreading it thin and then us from the inside actually adding pressure to that. But right now, there's no pressure because our Democrats aren't gonna do shit. And if you expect them to do anything, just give up on that because we have. They called out constitutional crises, that's good enough. But we as Americans have no breathing space unless we're actually helped by other countries who are making it difficult on him as well. But there's plenty who just bend the knee. Of course, you have to take care of your own population. But as a result, Canada, 51st state. Not that Americans want this to occur, of course, but he's very unpredictable, so I'm just saying, he really wants Greenland, and it's easier to get it through Canada than it is to get it through Europe.